Hi, this is David Ruben. Thank you for watching this video on the documents needed in order to file a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Now, when you decide that you want to begin the process with us, whether it's through a free consultation and we send you our information by email, or you go on our website and you click on the link and you see it, you're going to see a list of documents that we need in order to properly process your bankruptcy. We apologize in advance for requiring you to get these documents, but these are the documents that we can't get on our own. We need you to get these for us. Some people say, well, I'm paying you all this money. Why don't you get these documents for me? And I say, well, we will get your credit report, so we'll have all your creditors. And if you need assistance getting, for example, your tax returns or your bank statements, because some people are not comfortable getting things online, we will help you. But there are documents that we need you to get for us. And we can take everything by email. Some people put them on a flash drive. Some people like to drop them off at the office. Whatever's easiest for you is easiest for us. But we do need these documents. And I think that it's important for you to understand, or maybe helpful for you to understand, why we need these documents, because it gives you a better understanding of this process and why we're asking for this information in order to discharge your debts. Because somebody would say, well, why do you need the title of my vehicle if I'm keeping my vehicle and I don't owe money on my car anyway? Why are you asking me for this information? And the answer is really simple, because the law requires it. And our job is to take your set of facts and your set of information and your set of situations that you have and pair it up with what the law is, put it all into a proper bankruptcy petition and what we call bankruptcy package that we send to the court so that everything goes through as smoothly as possible. So I have a piece of paper basically that just says documents needed. The first thing I need from you is pay stubs for the last 6 months. Now, when I say pay stubs, I mean proof of all of your sources of income, whether that's a pay stub from work, whether that's a Zelle information that you get paid because you're a barber or something like that, whether it's a printout from Uber because you're an Uber driver or a Lyft driver or something like that, whether it's a 1099 because you're an independent contractor, whatever it is, we need proof of the amount of money that you've earned for the last 6 months, because when the court determines, or when we determine for you in advance of filing, whether or not you qualify for Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, we have to know how much money you have earned in the last 6 months. The court needs to see the documentation, and we need to see the documentation. If the documentation doesn't match up, and sometimes people do it, most of the time they do it unintentionally. They say, oh, I get paid every other week, not every week. Or, oh, I didn't realize I had to give you the information for my second job. Or, oh, I forgot to do this. Or they say, oh, but I don't have access to my information. We do so many Chapter 7 and Chapter 13 bankruptcies. I'd like to say we've pretty much seen it all. So if we have to get information from Uber for you, or if there's some other kind of employment that you have that may not be, standard run-of-the-mill W-2, we're going to help you with that. But we need your pay information for the last 6 months. That includes Social Security income. But hey, why does that matter, Social Security income? Because we do. Because that's what the law says, and we have to have documentation to support how much money. I don't have my Social Security information. Okay, well, in that situation, if you really can't find it, if you have a bank statement, which we're going to ask for too, circle on your bank statement how much you receive from the United States Treasury every month. It'll be on your bank statement. Does retirement count? Does VA retirement count? Yes, everything counts for purposes of bankruptcy. Now, it may not be included in our formulas, but that's not for you to consider. What we're asking you to do is give us all the information that you can. We also need your spouse's information if you are married and you are living together. If you're separated, I don't need your information. If you're not married but living together with somebody, the answer is it kind of depends. Are you sharing your finances together? Do you share a joint bank account? Do you pay bills together? If that's the case, I'm going to need your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, whatever you want to call that, who you're sharing financial life with. I need that information. But most commonly, it's a spouse. That spouse may not be filing bankruptcy, but they earn money, and we look at household income. So we need information from both you and your spouse in terms of how much money you've made over the last 6 months prior to filing the bankruptcy. And then we say, we need you to update that information. Sometimes people file bankruptcy within just a couple weeks of contacting our office. They're able to get us all the information, pay the fees, they file the bankruptcy, all good. But more likely than not, people don't have all the money initially, or it takes them a little while to get paperwork, or for one legal reason or the other, they need to wait until they file. What happens between when you initially retain our firm and when we file is you continue to get paid more money, or you continue to earn money from a job, and you continue to receive pay stubs. When we file the bankruptcy, that's when we need the most recent 6 months. And that's why we're going to say to you, and you're going to get frustrated, I gave you all of my pay stubs and my bank statements leading up to when I first retained you. Why do I need new stuff? Because things can change, and the law says we need it up to date. So do the best you can with giving us all the information that we need initially, but be prepared just in case we might ask for updates from time to time. I need bank statements. I need bank statements from any bank account that you may have, whether it's in your name alone, whether it's in your name with a spouse, whether it's in your name with a partner, whether it's in your name with a family or friend. I need all that information. Does it necessarily mean that it matters when we file the bankruptcy petition? Perhaps not, but we need that information. We have to make that decision. We have to do our due diligence on your behalf to make sure that everything goes smoothly. So I need bank statements. Now, some people say, well, I'm self-employed. If you're self-employed and you don't have a lot of information and most of your information is coming from your bank statements, then I'm going to say to you, I may need 6 months of bank statements for somebody who's self-employed, or there might be other reasons that I need more. But be prepared to log into your bank account, get those statements, and email it to us. If you need help from us doing that, that's fine. If you want to bring it to us rather than email it to us, that's fine. But we're going to need bank statements. We're going to need tax returns from you. For a Chapter 7, signed, filed tax returns is not 100% required, but it's highly encouraged. We're always going to say to you, we need the most recent 2 years of tax returns. If you say, I haven't filed my tax returns, can I still file? If it's a Chapter 7, we're going to say, probably, but you need to get those things filed, because even if we file, the trustee is going to say, I want to see proof of income of how much this person made over the last couple of years. Because if they haven't filed their tax returns, that's kind of a red flag, and they're going to do more of an investigation into what you really make and check their boxes. So we always encourage people to file their taxes if they haven't already. That said, if you have filed your taxes, we need the last 2 years of tax returns from you, federal and state. If you don't have both, federal is much more important. It includes W-2s if you have them. If you don't, the tax returns. And again, as with anything else, nobody's perfect. If you provide us with information and we need more information, we're going to send you an email or call you and say, hey, we need more information. No big deal. That's our job. That's what we're getting paid for. That's what we have the expertise to know what the trustees want to see. Copies of titles to your vehicles. We need a copy of the title to your vehicle. Why? Just because that's what the trustee needs. It doesn't mean you're going to lose your vehicle. It just means we need a copy of the title. All lease agreements, if you have a lease agreement, we need a copy of your lease agreement. If you don't have a written lease agreement, that's fine. Don't give us a copy of your written lease agreement. It doesn't mean you need to run out and get a copy of your lease. Many people live with household members, and they pay rent. They pay $1,500 a month. They may pay cash, they may pay Venmo, they may give a check, whatever, or direct bank transfer, but they don't have a lease agreement. That's okay, because that's normal to not have a lease agreement with family members. When people then come in and they create a new lease with their mother, that looks fishy, right? Because that's not what people ordinarily do. Now, if you do pay rent to a family member, we might ask for proof of that rent. If you give cash, you give cash. We might ask, where'd you get that cash? These are things that need to be done, but we'll take it from there. You give us the documentation that we're asking for, we'll review it, and we'll go from there. I need retirement asset statements. Why? Because that's what the law requires. Nobody's taking your retirement from you. Nobody's taking your 401k. Nobody's taking your IRA. Nobody's taking your thrift savings plan. If it's a retirement where you receive money on a monthly basis, like a military retirement or retirement from the federal government or something like that, or a private company, we need that information because that's income information. And then we just need a clear copy of your ID and something called a credit counseling course certificate, which I'll go into more detail on another video. But there's credit counseling that everybody has to do. That credit counseling certificate is ordinarily going to be emailed to me directly from the credit counseling company that does your credit counseling for you, so you really don't have to worry about that initially. So those are the documents needed. Do the best you can. Email them to me, drop them off, ask me questions. We're always here to help. Thank you.